Alrighty, guys, we are back for another quick recap. Today was a super quick day, super easy day. I was pretty much in and out in seconds. Today I took three trades. I played Tesla, Nvidia, and SPY. Did puts on them all, and we'll quickly go over why I did that. Just starting, I want to show you all how I kind of take my trades and look at my setup. I use Webull as my main trading and kind of operating source here. Going in, I always have kind of three of my main watches, which are I usually like to watch a few of the main stocks. So SPY, Qs, Tesla, Nvidia. Recently, I've been watching Microsoft. Expect a downfall there, and I'll talk about that later in the video. And then the VIX, as you see there, and then a few other small cap stocks, so such as like Palantir, because I think it's very overvalued right now. Oklo, which I think could be a potential future growth stock. And what am I missing? What am I missing? Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm missing, but yeah. So this is kind of how I started off. I usually am looking at the bigger time frames on things, and then kind of go into smaller time frames from there. So on Tesla, I was looking at our 5 minute time frame, right, as open. I always kind of get on around 9:20, 9:25 Eastern Standard Time. I actually live on the West Coast, so my time it's like 6:20, which is perfect because I go to the gym right before that and get home and just kind of it's perfect timing. This is my setup. This is kind of how I look at everything, kind of at a broader sense, and then go from there. Looking at first, we'll start with the first trade that I took, which was actually Tesla. So in Tesla, as we can see, when market opened, we were hitting absolutely just lows. And I actually played these. I actually stopped and took my gains here. I took a short position once I saw this. And the reason I did is once I look on the bigger time frame, here, this little green rectangle that you see there, that was a original fair value gap that I had from the day previously that we hit, as you can see there. But I kept extending it because that was like as you saw, we had a lot of resistance and was creating a level there. So I just kind of extended that out into day. And that's actually exactly where it hit. And you can see if we go back on a smaller time frame, it is still bouncing on that level. I took my gains. I'm on a small account, so I'm kind of just taking it where I can. If you have the risk management, this would have been a beautiful play, but I didn't. I kind of just took my gains here. It was a quick, I think I made about $50 on that trade, and then I quickly got out. And that was pretty easy to see as we were forming a resistance here, and then also, this was creating a level here from our 2 days previous fair value gaps, which then is now creating support. So that was the first trade I took. It was an easy one. Since everything else was falling, I kind of went back to this custom screen. I always kind of go into the bigger screen, or I stay on this custom screen where I can kind of get a multi-view of charts. But after I saw Tesla was falling, I knew SPY was following suit. So kind of going back to that larger screen here. Following my strategy, as I say, I always do orb strategy, which is that opening range breakout. So going on the 5 minute time frame, or I usually look at the 1 minute time frame, I go and mark out our 5 minute highs and lows. So our highs on the 5 minute candle, if we look here, this is the high there, this was the low, or this was the low, So I kind of just marked those with our horizontal line, as you all have previously seen in my videos. And basically I'm just waiting for a breakout on either side and then for it to come back. I know it probably sounds repetitive, but sticking to your strategy and simplicity has been proving to make me a better trader. So I will keep kind of reiterating and repeating myself until hopefully you all kind of follow suit as well, and until basically it just comes second nature to me, which I feel like I'm starting now to really get some traction. Start off with doing that. I also marked pre-market high and lows. because that also kind of gives us liquidation values there. And that's sometimes a good sign of where to take profits. And that's exactly what I did on this trade. So going back on the 1 minute time frame, we see we had our first breakout here. And I actually waited. I was patient because you can see on these candles, it actually broke through. And for me, I need a wick to kind of stay below this 5 minute low range there. So I waited, and once I saw this and saw this second candle form, I actually hopped into the 554 puts, just because that was our pre-market low there, and as you can see, that trade executed perfectly. Now, I then, as the same time I was doing that, as I said, I used my custom screen, so I was also looking at NVIDIA at the same time and saw NVIDIA was kind of following suit as Tesla. Now, before I made a chart, now we'll go back to NVIDIA here and look on the larger time frame. So from the past 2 days, actually, you can see this trend line that I drew here. And I was waiting to see that. So you always kind of, for me, I always like to kind of be very technically analytical. Sorry, that was kind of a mouthful. But yeah, be very technically analytical. So I went ahead and saw that trend line there, marked it out, and I waited. I saw that we had some fall in the start of the market, but I waited until basically, let's go back, until this moment here, right? We came back and I saw this was actually starting to create a resistance. So that's when I went ahead and hopped in the NVIDIA puts. So yeah, I hopped in the NVIDIA puts. Once again, did our pre-market lows and highs, and it hit perfectly there. So yeah, that was an easy trade. Today I walked away with about, I think, 2 gain. So my daily target has now been $100. Just like I said, I'm starting from $500 on a small account. I do have another account where I'm doing longer stocks, but as far as just small account trading, I'm just taking this $100 a day, just slowly compounding. 1% better every day over 100 days is 100% better, guys. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I'm not trying to go too big, keeping my contracts small, just buying one contract at a time, waiting for quality trades, not trying to be overzealous or over eager, and then go from there. So yeah, it was a good day, easy trading day. The last thing I want to point out is the other opportunities. Now, I walked away from the charts after that and kind of went ahead and enjoyed my day, had breakfast with my girlfriend, and made some coffee and kind of, just started doing other things that I needed to do, which is the kind of best thing about trading, is the freedom of time. And I think a lot of us kind of get money hungry and greedy and try to stick to the charts, which we don't need to do. Enjoy your day. Once you take those profits, walk away. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, just kind of quickly going over so I don't ramble on. Make this video kind of short. Here is our second opportunity. As we saw, basically as it hit our level at that pre-market low, it bounced all the way back to to our 5 minute opening range high. Now, I didn't play any of these because I was waiting again. And actually, like I said, I was already away from the charts, so I wasn't even waiting on anything. But if you were still as a charts, they gave you another opportunity because we see a breakout here, right? On the 1 minute, we see a breakout. You've actually could have entered here because now I personally would not have entered here because I would have considered this the breakout. But as you can see, this wick form under our 5 minute low, we could have played that breakout there. I would have waited personally to this retest at this region here. But as you can see, we retested and rejected. Now, I don't know if you all watched my previous video, but in my previous video, I actually had a level of where we say we could hit 552s from our previous 2-day low. And that's exactly what we did. We're actually, the market's still live right now. And as you said, I'm completely out for the day. We could hit new lows, as it seems we're doing now. But, I'll kind of do my analysis tomorrow morning or tonight. But we actually, off that retest, broke. We started to create a little bit of resistance, a little bit of support, and then broke through and actually hit that 552 range, guys. So that'd have been a beautiful trade. I unfortunately, well, not even unfortunately, I'm very happy with the day. But I didn't play it at all. I was very happy with the gains that I took. And yeah, this is kind of the journey. As you see, we are absolutely chopping here. 554 right now is creating a crazy resistance. And now we're just hitting absolute. I mean, look at this. Look at this, guys. This is crazy. So yeah, we'll see what happens going into tomorrow. My next range is 548 on off my fib. So if it does hit that level, that is insane. That is insane. But we'll see. We'll see going into tomorrow. If you're an investor and kind of starting to buy some stocks here, I think it is a good time to buy a few things. I personally have started deploying some cash into Tesla. I see, we'll just go into the daily here. I mean, super discounted. That's pretty much 50% off. We're not going to see it that low ever again. And just in the future of automation, I think Tesla has the possibilities of going back. So that's why I'm invested there. Google is one of the top companies we have in America. So I went ahead and started buying here. I think that's a great buy point for me. Nvidia is at a great discount for me as well. I do think it could go lower, but for me, I just started slowly deploying some cash, not going all in right away. American Express, also a great buy. Now, I do think this one can continue to go lower, but I'm just, as I said before, just slowly deploy the cash, always be buying, and then that will kind of compound upwards. I also started deploying some cash into this stock called Aqua, which is a nuclear reactor stock. So it's just basically covering bases in the energy department. I really like this stock. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So going into tomorrow, guys, we're going to see what SPY does if we do hit new lows at 548 range. That would be insane. Like I said, I'm done trading for the day. And I do have more capital to deploy into some trades, but it's best to walk away when I'm up. So I'm cool with my gains here. I hope you all are cool with your gains. I hope we are kind of learning together as I'm tracking my own journey. But, hoping that it kind of gives other people insights. As I said, I currently don't have a job, and I'm just kind of having fun with this, having fun just learning the game, learning the knowledge of everything. And yeah, it's kind of proven to be beneficial. So hope you guys have a good one. Like I said, to my future self, who knows where I'm going to be in a year or 2 years. All I know is right now we are having fun. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.